What's going on, my dudes? Oscar back with an all new video, and today I wanted to do something that I haven't done in a really long time. I think I did one of these maybe like 6 months ago or something like that. I've only done one of them on the channel, and I thought it'd be cool to do another one. Right now, I should be in Indiana right now, but I got really sick and I'm stuck in Florida. And since I'm here anyway, I figured I'd record some stuff for you guys. I got some content going on the channel. I've been streaming a bunch, so that's been a lot of fun, and I want to thank everybody that comes and hangs out on the streams. That means a lot to me. But today, what I want to talk to you all about, like I said, is something that I haven't talked about on this channel in a while, and that's some manga that I'm currently reading. So let's do this. Here's a bunch of series. The way that I do this is I talk about each series individually. So I'll go down the line and I'll say some things about each one of these volumes of manga, and I'll try to keep it kind of short so I don't ramble for super long. Before we get right into the first one, so some really good news that I'm sure we've all heard by now. Kentaro Miura's work, Berserk, is going to be continued by one of his really close friends, Koji Mori, and I think it's great news. Hopefully you all feel the same. I don't know if anybody's on the fence about it. Maybe they're not too happy about, someone else, stepping in and taking over. Like I know the same thing happened with like the Wheel of Time books, where was it Robert Jordan? I think that was the creator's name, passed away, and then Brandon Sanderson came up. He took over, and I think he did a pretty solid job, finishing up those books. But sometimes, when another creator comes in and takes over a work, maybe it isn't always, the greatest thing. But I do have faith, because of the fact that the people that are taking over Berserk are people that were already involved with it, and had love for it. And, one of the people is Kentaro Miura, the late Kentaro Miura's best friend, Koji Mori. So because of that, and, because of the team that are working on it, and they're all working from, ideas and whatnot that Kentaro Miura had left behind before his passing, I think that, I want to give it a chance. I want to see what happens. I know they're closing out the last arc. They're closing that out, and then from the rest of it, the rest of it going forward is going to be all new stuff. But, trying to finish what Miura-sensei had left behind, after his passing. So, I want to give it support, and I believe in the project, and I hope that they can do it justice, and I do believe that they can do it justice. So hopefully we'll get some new Berserk in the future, and it'll be something that's from people that care, and not be like a cash grab or something. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I know that's not what this was supposed to be about. I just wanted to get it out. I just wanted to get it right out, give my 2 cents about it. Because people have asked me in like the live streams, what I think, and I just kind of wanted to. But yeah, again, thank you to everybody that's come out. It means a lot to me. So let's get right to the point, of why we're doing this video, and that's to talk about some manga. So all the stuff that I have right now that I'm going to talk about just came out in the last like 2 weeks to a month. So it's all really fresh, really new. And this one just came out like last Tuesday, and this is Welcome Back, Alice by Shuzo Oshimi. And I want to say that I absolutely love Shuzo Oshimi. Like, to me, this is a creator that can do absolutely no wrong, and it feels like everything that he does is so calculated and precise. I seriously don't know that this man can take an L. I feel like everything he does is a dub. And especially like when you read the end, of this first volume, like his why he wrote, Welcome Back, Alice, and his thoughts on sexuality and whatnot. It's really like Freudian. And yeah, there's definitely like, it's something that I didn't really personally think about because it doesn't affect me. But like the fact that in Japan, there is like definitely a kind of, it's not like, I don't want to say it's like the US, where like being an alpha or whatever is like really, on the nose, where these dudes that come out as being alphas are so over the top about it. And there's so much of that here, like testosterone driven media, and just everything's about being a man. And I don't really think about it, that in Japan, there's definitely a part of that as well, where like you're the man, you're the breadwinner, you have to follow this set, set course of your life, and you're going to go to college and you're going to have a family, and there's no wiggle room for any sort of deviation away from that path. And then you have creators like Shuzo Oshimi that look at that and say no. You know what I mean? Like, they look at that and say, yeah, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going to write a story about a young ass kid who decides he no longer wants to be a boy, but he also doesn't want to be a woman. So like, this character is kind of like in the they them kind of category. Like, I'm not saying that for sure they're they them, but the lead character in this seems like they are they them, based on what I've read so far of this first volume. But I love the examination of sexuality in it. So if like you're watching this and maybe you want something lighthearted, this is not gonna be it. This will challenge. So far, like, it definitely will challenge, I think, a lot of people's perspective on sexuality, and even within the story, the characters grapple with the change that this person is going through. And I feel like it takes someone as brilliant as Shuzo Oshimi to be able to properly tackle something like this that's so uncomfortable, and it really is such like an uncomfortable topic, but I think he does it masterfully, and he doesn't make fun of it, which is, I think, really important. Like, if you're going to cover something like that, and there are people that in real life really deal with these things, that like, if you're going to cover something like that, you have to do it respectfully. And like, I feel like if there's somebody that's going to do it any sort of justice, it's going to be Shuzo Oshimi. All right, so let's break away from the little more serious talk that we started having there, and let's talk about Colorless by Kent. And so this is an interesting story. It's like noir, and it's pretty bleak, I guess, if you will. Like, it's actually like a really well written story, and I like it. I like it quite a bit. It's definitely, it has like, I don't want to say, it's not like hardcore Sin City, like pulp noir, but there's definitely more of like a hardened detective kind of noir to it. And it goes like beyond the, this is in black and white, and takes it like a step further and makes it like an even darker sort of black and white, if that makes any sense. Or like, it looks like it's actually like ultra saturated, or instead of, because in certain mangas, or like, you see the characters and like they'll have like shades of color, right? Or like, it'll be a little bit darker, like their hair will be a little bit darker to signify that they have dark hair, or it'll be a little bit lighter to signify that maybe they're like a blonde or whatever. In this, like, it's all pretty much like one set sort of a color. Like, everyone has like a one set sort of a color, and there's really no deviation from like that set sort of a color until you get to the points where there are aspects of the lingering color within the world, the lingering color that doesn't really exist anymore, because color has been ripped away, from this world, and the characters that inhabit the world post color. There was this thing called like the mercy pulse, I think, and after the mercy pulse, all the color was stripped away from the world, and now what's left is pretty much black and white, and all anybody sees is just kind of like monochrome black and white. And it's a really interesting story so far. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm trying to, like, I'm getting through it. I'd been reading a bunch of different stuff, and especially since like I was sick and I was stuck here, like, I did a bunch of reading, and I finished a bunch of the series that like I was gonna be in the middle of, while doing this video. I ended up just finishing them all because like I've just been here stuck in bed and just been in my room. I haven't really been able to get out, but I want to see like how this volume's gonna end, and the characters are cool. I love the feeling of it. Like I said, it has like that really strong noir aspect to it, and the way that people dress and the way the lead character dresses, it all has really noirish feel. Even like the writing and the paneling. I want to say the paneling doesn't feel like traditional manga paneling. It almost feels like Western paneling, if that makes any sense to anybody. Yeah, it almost doesn't feel like a Japanese, sort of format with the way that it's paneled, and I kind of like that. It feels original, and the story itself is pretty unique, and that there are like little vestiges of color, and the characters in the world can see the color, but there's one character, she can't see the color. She has to wear like glasses to be able to see those little vestiges of color within the world, and they're trying to piece together what happened in the event that led to the world essentially going black and white after this thing called the Mercy Pulse. Yeah, I mean, pretty much anybody that like survived the Mercy Pulse was turned into like one of these creatures. Like that's how you look now. Like you're all screwed up. You've been pretty much turned into like a mutant. And this girl is a remnant of the past, like when people looked like human beings. And actually, one thing I wanted to mention is it reminds me of the Twilight Zone. That's what I'd had in my mind. I was thinking, like, this reminds me of something, but I can't remember what it was. There was an episode of the Twilight Zone from, like, the 50s where this woman is a patient in a hospital, and, all the staff and everything are, like, these grotesque-looking monsters. But in their minds, she is the monster, the girl that just looks normal. Meanwhile, like, all these other people look like these grotesque, hideous monsters to us. But in their eyes, that girl who looks perfectly normal is the monster. And it kind of reminds me too of like Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut. Like if you haven't read that story, I highly recommend it. Harrison Bergeron. That's kind of also what this reminds me of a little bit. All right, so let's talk about Hitomi-chan is shy with strangers. This series, I think, like started out kind of okay. I feel like it got better in the second volume. I feel like volume 2 is where like it picked up a little bit. And then volume 3 I enjoyed. This one is kind of teetering. It's not great. It's not a great volume. I mean, there's parts of it that I actually really enjoyed. Like there's this whole thing where everybody gets like sweet potatoes, like there's this old guy, selling sweet potatoes, and everybody that, he sells sweet potatoes to ends up getting like a massive bag of sweet potatoes. And it's kind of like a running joke throughout this whole volume is that, everybody has like this huge bag of sweet potatoes and they're all trying to share their sweet potatoes with each other. So I thought that was kind of cute, like that they're doing that in whole inclusion thing, and, like all the friends are coming together and whatnot. There's still I did a video about the series a while back. I don't remember how long ago, like 4 months ago or something. I did a video about Hitomi-chan is shy with strangers, which has randomly been getting a lot of views. So I might do another one. I might do another video about this series. Maybe like a why you should read Hitomi-chan is shy with strangers. But yeah, I mean it's a cute series, and I like their dynamic. I kind of want them to, bridge it a little bit more. But I mean, given that it is, what it is, and it's like this one, it's pretty much exactly like this one. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen for a long time. Them bridging that gap. I feel like it's moving a little bit quicker than it did in Komi Can't Communicate. Whereas like Komi Can't Communicate, it takes like a hell of a long time, I think, before the romantic aspect of it starts to take hold and it starts to be more fleshed out. But I like that like we're starting to get introduced to more characters now. There's more people in it, and this character right here is an American, her right there, and she's so over the top. Like I think she was a great addition. I kind of hate that, like I kind of don't like that they brought her in like so far into it. Like you don't even meet her until like the end of the volume, because like it does kind of flounder a little bit. Or like I do enjoy the series, and like I couldn't wait for the next volume to drop so I could get my hands on it and read it. But it is stalling a little bit, and I don't know if it's just that he's trying to, that Natsume Chorisuke is trying to drag it out a little bit, try to get as much story as he can out of Hitomi-chan is shy with strangers. So there's parts of it that do kind of drag a little bit. And I mean, it does have some pretty suggestive but it's not that terrible. You know what I mean? It's not horrible, but there is, you know, like fan service, and some of it's like a little, you know, over the top, especially since it's like being marketed to like a younger audience. I feel like it's maybe a little bit over the top if you're supposedly trying to market it to like 13-year-olds, and especially I'm not really sure like what the target audience is for the series. Like this right here is pretty wholesome, but I mean, like, I don't know what the target audience is for Hitomi-chan and Shy with Strangers, but like the fact that it says like 13 plus right there, and like, is it supposed to be like a shoujo, or is it just, you know, in general for 13 and up? But like I said, you know, I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's a decent series. It's cute. She isn't nearly as bad as, you know, Komi-san. You know, she isn't nearly as bad as Komi-san. Like, she can actually communicate, but she scares people. Though I feel like it's lost a bit of that. You know, where like she was really awkward at first, and now it feels like the awkwardness is kind of gone. It's not really a part of the story anymore. Now it's actually starting to turn more into like I'd said, it's starting to become more of. It's now starting to become more of like the rom-com, you know, sort of part. And yeah, I mean, like I look forward to volume 5 in like September, because it's gonna be an eternity from now when the next volume of the series drops. But yeah, that's another one. Like, I read the whole volume already. Kind of bummed out that, you know, we didn't get this character until the end. I kind of wish she would have been in it earlier, because like I feel like she does a great job of breaking up the monotony that's kind of been forming with with this last volume. All right, so up next we have Mieruko-chan. And so right here we have our lead character, Miko. And this is a series that I've really enjoyed, you know, like for a while now. It has an anime adaptation, and like I don't think the anime adaptation has done it a great service. Like, I definitely feel like people should read the manga instead of, you know, watching the anime. I don't feel like the anime does it enough justice. And if anything, I'll be honest, it kind of turned me off a little bit, like watching the anime, because there's such a massive, I want to say like unnecessary focus on like fan service in the anime. Like, they went so far above and beyond to do the fan service thing that like it kind of ruined the story for me a bit. Even though like I love the manga a lot, you know, like it just kind of ruined it for me. Like, and I can't, you know, wash the anime out of my brain. Even though I think the manga is so much better, I started picking it up and like I started thinking about the anime, and I'm just like, oh god. But it's actually like a really good series. Like, I definitely highly recommend reading it. I did a video about it a while ago as well. I think Tomoki Izumi does like a great job. His drawings are so solid, and it's continuing on. You know, like, it's a good progression from, you know, how it starts with Miko being like terrified of pretty much everything, and even now she's still scared of it, but at least, you know, as the story's progressing, she's starting to become more comfortable with it, and she at least tried to make peace with these spirits at the shrine, and then things went horribly awry. You know, things went horribly awry. I definitely think that this is a good series to check out. Please don't watch the anime. Please don't watch the anime. Like, if you haven't watched it yet, if you haven't, you know, had the experience ruined for you yet, I highly recommend reading the manga over watching the anime, because the drawings are solid, the characters are solid. There's some really like emotional, touching scenes within the manga that I don't think were translated well, and some of it was just like completely left out. Some of it was just completely left out of the anime, and like I feel like it was to the detriment of the anime, and I feel like the anime was just too reliant on fan service, and it kind of ruined it for me. And I think it ruined it for a lot of other people as well, and especially like anime only type people that like maybe will never want to check out the manga now because they saw the anime and were just like, I'm good, I'm gonna stay away. You know what I mean? And it does bum me out, because like there's certain like really solid manga series that may just never be consumed because people saw, you know, the anime and were just like, you know, so I definitely recommend checking these series out. And you're pretty much going to see all of these in my haul video for May, June. But I just wanted to highlight some of these just to say a few things about them. And, you know, because when I do that, I'm just going to like be really quick about it. But at least here I can, you know, show you some stuff and, you know, say some things about it. All right, so I saved Crazy Food Truck for last. I feel like I was going to do a Let's Talk about this series, but I changed my mind. So let's just talk about it here. So pretty much our leads are Gordon and Arisa. And, I mean, there really isn't much to say about it. Like, I didn't really feel like there was a reason to do a video about it. I kind of like what Okuro Ogaki was going for with this series, but it takes too long. It takes way too long to get going. Like, the characters are kind of bland. Like, there's really nothing special about either of them. You know, like, they're painted in a way to make them, you know, feel like really special characters, but they're kind of flat, and they really don't have, it doesn't really get going until like the latter half, when the military aspect of it is introduced into the story. And like, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil, you know, maybe any surprises for somebody that wants to read it for themselves. There's nice action, you know, it's definitely kind of funny. I like that, you know, this dude Gordon goes so far out of his way to like make sandwiches, like, because he has a business that he runs, but he's like doing it out in the desert. You know, he's doing it out in the desert, and like there's no one for miles, and like he goes out of his way to like make these sandwiches, and they're really delicious looking sandwiches. And like, he goes so far out of his way to make these sandwiches, and no one eats his sandwiches until he meets this girl Arisa, who's like bundled up in a sleeping bag, and he ends up taking her along for the ride, but she can put it away. Like, this girl eats so much damn food, and it's nuts, you know, just like how much she eats just by herself. And like, she eats this man out of like house and home, and it's really cute, it's really funny. But it's just like, you know, like the space between just felt like too long for me, and like that's kind of why I was just like, But I'm still gonna read it, you know, like I already ordered volume 2, so I should have volume 2 whenever, you know, it releases. So I'm still gonna read it because like I did like the end of this volume, but like I said, you know, it just takes too long to get going, and for the most part, it's not really that appealing yet. But I don't want to write it off, and like that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I definitely don't think that it should be written off, you know, especially like given that this is only the first volume, and usually I like to have, you know, multiple volumes of a series so that like I can give it more of a chance, like I did with Hitomi-chan and Shy with Strangers, where like if I would have just read the first volume, I would have just written that series off and never, you know, gone any further. And I'm trying to do the same with Crazy Food Truck. Like, I don't want to write Crazy Food Truck off without, you know, reading more of it, reading the next volume. And it is good. It's not great yet, but I think that, you know, as it progresses and as this mangaka kind of finds, you know, his footing with this story and with this world, I think it'll definitely get a lot better. So, yeah, I mean, the monsters are cool. The shenanigans, you know, are well done. I like that Arisa is like so much of an acrobat, and you know, like just like I said, the shenanigans and everything that happens in the story, it's cool. I don't ever want to hate on a creator's work, on a mangaka's work. So I don't do these to be a jerk or to hate on anything, because like I know that there's a lot of work and a lot of dedication and time and effort that goes into just doing one, you know, issue of a manga, or really anything. You know, it takes time and effort. So I'm not trying to hate on any creators or anything. And yeah, like, I mean, I look forward to seeing, you know, what he's gonna do with what Ogaki-san is gonna do with Crazy Food Truck, and seeing where it's gonna go. And it's a decently sized volume. I mean, it's like nice big volume, and like the cover art definitely sold me, because like I almost passed on it, but I decided to check it out because of the cover art. I really like the title, Crazy Food Truck, and it is a pretty crazy food truck. And yeah, these characters have a pretty interesting road, I think, ahead of them, and I want to see what's going to happen next. Maybe I'll change my mind. You know, maybe if I enjoy Volume 2 enough, I'll do a Let's Talk about the series, and maybe go like more in depth into it, instead of just kind of like, you know, doing like a shallow surface explanation of it. But yeah, pretty much like post-apocalyptic wasteland. They go town to town, and he tries to hawk sandwiches. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But yeah, dude, I definitely would say check it out if you want to. Like, I'm not trying to tell anyone not to read it. I was just, you know, kind of giving my 2 cents. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I've got a lot of stuff working. I really wanted to get this video out. I'm going to be recording tomorrow Goodnight Boon Boon Volumes 5 and 6 video. I wrote so much script for Goodnight Boon Boon Volumes 5 and 6, but I should hopefully be getting those out really soon. I'll have this video ready to go. I should be dropping tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be dropping a Vinyl Journey video. Today's Friday, so tomorrow I'll be dropping my Goodnight Boon Boon, or tomorrow I'll be dropping my tomorrow I will be dropping a Vinyl Journey video for Dark Throne. I'm recording this today, Friday, and then this video will come out next weekend. And then yeah, after that, the video that I'm recording tomorrow will be my Goodnight Boon Boon video, so hopefully that'll be out in a couple weeks. And then I'm also in the middle of Goodnight Boon Boon Volume 7, so hopefully I'll be able to get this out in the next 3 to 4 weeks. I should be able to get this volume finished. I'll probably finish this volume in like the next week or so. Then I'll write my script or whatever for Goodnight Boon Boon Volume 7. I'm also reading Goodbye Eri by Datsuki Fujimoto, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's a really well-written story so far. And it feels so much like a Datsuki Fujimoto story. You know, like there's certain creators where like they do things and you're just like, yeah, that feels like something that you would create. And yeah, Goodbye Eri just feels like such a goddamn Datsuki Fujimoto story. Like it feels like Fire Punch almost, like the aspects of Fire Punch, where like it was a film, and like the one person was trying to create a film. Like that's what I think of when I read Goodbye Eri. So yeah, maybe like once I finish that, I'll do a video about it or something. We'll see what happens. But anyway, before this gets any longer, I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. It means the world to me that anybody would watch this. I know this got kind of long, so I apologize for that. Like I just had so much to say this video. So yeah, again, I apologize for like talking an insane amount. But thanks for hanging out with me. It does mean the world to me. Please come to the live streams if you can. If you can't, it's all good. It's all usually pretty much gaming and whatnot. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, please take care of yourselves.